Welcome to Transmissions from the Heart of the Hive. I am Kat and I have Sabrina with me today, and we are going to take you on a journey and inside a conversation in whichever form it unfolds, whatever shape it takes, we're here for it. So I'd like today to get us started by grounding together, establishing this shared safety so that we can open to share and you can open to receive. So this will be just a couple minutes. If you're driving while you're listening to this or you're doing some busy housework, take a moment to pause. You don't have to close your eyes. You could just pause and create a little more spaciousness in your experience as we ground together. So taking a moment to get comfortable, whichever way, whatever that means to you. If you're not driving, close your eyes maybe, if that feels good, if that feels safe in this moment. And allowing yourself to land in your body. We're so often just in our busy mind. Allowing yourself to come into your body, to come into full presence. Feeling your feet, touching the ground, maybe even feeling the socks or the slippers or the shoes you're wearing, maybe you're barefoot. Feeling the energy running through your whole body. And this is you sitting here. Or maybe you're standing, or maybe you're still moving, but you're here now. It is safe to be you. It is safe to be here now. And you're not alone. I invite you to imagine with us that we are inside a golden honeycomb dome. This hive of ours is a shared space. Shared space for witnessing each other, for bringing through transmissions, for simply sharing what's alive within us. So that in the shared experience, we can experience alchemy, transformation, release, letting go of all that doesn't serve. And we can also receive activation, inspiration, and feeling the love that flows through this hive. Because this hive of ours is connected to something much greater, to the womb of creation, to the heart of creation. And I invite you to feel oneness. Maybe not even oneness, but the shared humanity that exists between everyone listening and myself and Sabrina here. Because the shared humanity, this desire to witness each other's journey, insights, transformations, is how source through us, how all of creation, how all of life through us is able to know itself more fully. And this is why we invite you to share everything that comes through in response to hearing these transmissions. This is why we invite you into community with us, where we can sit and share and receive from you as you may receive from us. We are one hive, one hum, and you're so welcome here. It is safe to be fully you here. And yet you are a sovereign being in your own energy, with your own stream of consciousness connected to source, not losing yourself in the whole. Just remembering that the note that you sing, that you hum, is in full alignment with the rest of us. and we can't wait to hear it. If you closed your eyes, I want you to take a moment to return to this space, return to the room that you find yourself in. Maybe you're outside, wherever you are, remembering that you are still spirit in a human body, still here for this experience. Oh, so welcome. And Sabrina, I'm going to pass the mic to you. If you would like to share what's moving through you or the poem, transmission, whatever is the field is open. All the benevolent beings, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, all the beings of light are here, ready to witness, ready to elevate the frequency and keep the field for us so that whatever wants to move through can move through with grace.
Oh, thank you so much. So beautiful. You set the space so beautifully, holding the frequency, the vibration of the hive, the hum, the harmony. And I'm so grateful to be here in this space together to share, to co-create. And today we're going to explore a little bit more about what it means to pollinate our lives together. Because, as you said, in this hive, it is about all of us as a community, all of us with our purpose, all of us coming into rhythm. The bees have so many beautiful things to share in the hive, and each one of us as representation of that, and we embody that. And when we get to look at the similarities and the comparisons and how it is all relatable, we get to see, and then we get to utilize this medicine in a whole new way. And we get to take that into our lives personally as well as collectively in the hive, and we get to alchemize and we get to utilize that beautiful medicine. So some of the things that they like to talk about, I already mentioned bees being a beautiful model of purpose, right? So much purpose. One little bee can make such a big difference. One human being can make such a huge difference. And it's easy, I think, for us to get caught up in our everyday lives and our busyness and all the things and forget just how important every one of us is in this world, in this co-creation. And when we can really, truly come together in community and really embody sacred productivity and do it in a beautiful harmonic rhythm, doing it in a non-isolated creative experience. This is the medicine. You know, the bees, they don't make honey alone, and neither do we. And so just that beautiful remembrance alone is honey to my soul. And again, we'll get to explore so many different beautiful ways that this honey is something that we can really enjoy in our lives and nourish ourselves and others with. And so, with that, I will lead us through a poetic transmission from the spirit of the bees and the spirit of the golden hive. So, I invite you to relax and to receive these words as honey, as nourishment to your soul, as well as to your body. Allow it to activate remembrance within you. The spirit of the bee is felt strongly within me, the energies both slow and swift. As it flies all around, it knows its earthly mission and appears to bestow its gifts with our full permission. Like a gentle breeze flowing through so softly, gazing with admiration, I decode the messages promptly. We don't need to do it alone, as a small part of the bigger picture. No need to take it all on by ourselves to become the victor. With these big goals that are beyond our own perceived limits, we must remember what community exhibits. There really are no limits to what is truly possible. With clarity and inspired action, you can overcome any obstacle. When we can let go instead of hold on and resist, we then will be gifted with all of which we've wished. We can plant the seeds now and sow them day by day, each small task and action significant to the larger play. When we are in harmony with nature and in life, we're filled with inspiration and an affinity with light. Spreading far and wide, we journey through each day, bravely touching down on the flowers as they sway. By spreading love and light, we pollinate our lives, creating an environment, allowing fertility in our hives. We transcend and refine our own unique essence along our sacred journey as we show up in our full presence. We are more powerful and mighty than we think. And when we share our gifts, there's more for all to drink. With all our love, we share our hearts, the most powerful frequency that can heal all parts. With support and encouragement, we can fertilize the soil to create the space to grow and not spoil. The flowers of life ever blooming so unique show us a perfect example of how we are already all that we seek. With much gratitude, life is more sunny. It is my heart's desire to create a legacy of honey. An endless flow of honey so sweet to nourish the collective, plenty for all to eat. With the natural rhythms of earth we co-create a bounty of flowers we can all pollinate. The busy bee doesn't hesitate. It keeps on going and flowing and does not procrastinate. Don't be afraid to take inspired action, to trust and to listen and rise in luminous expansion. And so it is. Thank you, blessed bees. And as you feel the frequency of these words in your body, feel the love and the support, the encouragement, and the possibilities. And then I would love to invite open conversation and dialogue around the core messages that are really alive in this transmission. And Kat, I'd love to hear how that felt for you.
It's so interesting because it's not my first time hearing it. And the piece that lands and dear listeners, you can listen to this in a week. You'll extract a completely different piece of it. Like there'll be different gold nugget in it for you in a week, in a year, whenever you're receiving this. But the piece that stuck stuck out to me was, what is your definition of honey in your life? And this is so interesting because my morning started with receiving a message from a dear friend talking about her business and success and frustration with money. And I asked her, I said, can you define success as what it means to you today? Because you are still trying to run this business with the definition of success that you believed in a year ago, and you're trying to build a business in this higher frequency. So what does it mean? And I think it's really important for anyone being called to the hive, right? To sit with this question too. And it's for you and I, it's here to explore that too, right? What is honey? What is ultimately that prosperity, that abundance as it manifests in creation and co-creation? And most importantly, like, how does it feel in your body? Like, because when we're choosing a timeline, we're choosing an experience, how something is going to feel, full range of it. So what is honey to Sabrina? What does honey represent? How does it feel? What is her idea of flowing honey? And
Thank you. What a beautiful question. Oh, honey is so many things to me. Where do I even begin? Just the, the flow, the stickiness, the sweetness, the nourishment, the magic. I feel like honey to me is akin to liquid gold, like the plasma. It contains codes just like blood and saliva and water and dirt and everything, everything contains certain codes and frequencies. And to me, the honey represents so many things, from just the whole process from which it came, all that went into the creation of the honey on the bees' behalf and perspective, right? And that whole alchemical process and journey and sacrifice and consistency and determination and will to create. And so then that brings it back to, how do we relate in that way? Well, same thing for me. Like for me, these words, we could even go back to just distilling it down to the words that come through, that we receive to create with through our ideas. Those are honey, right? And then we get to share them through our voice, which adds an extra layer and level of frequency, intention, and love and light and all the things that you would like to imagine. And then we create and alchemize a new version of honey that we then get to share and to enjoy ourselves. And so honey comes in so many different flavors, right? Because we are each unique, as each bee is unique and each hive is unique. And so the flavor and the consistency and the makeup, if you will, of the honey is always ever changing and evolving and nourishing in so many ways. How about you,
as
Kat?
you were as you were talking, I was hearing legacy. Is honey the worker bee's legacy, or is it just part of the contribution to the whole,
I
right?
feel it's
And
both.
it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
it's both, because legacy sometimes is connected to like definition of like worth. Like
Hmm.
I'm worthy because I created this and I leave it, and without creating this I'm nothing, right? Like there's that,
Right.
like in the human, like if I die without leaving a legacy, my life was not really well lived. like, which
Yeah.
is your legacy is in how you loved your children, right? It's in how you were with your neighbors. It's like the bees' legacy is this contribution of the work that they were doing, but also how they were in everyday life, right?
Yeah,
And it's
they're
like,
just being, they're saying.
yeah, they're just
Their
being.
legacy is just their
Yeah,
being,
just
their
being,
beingness.
just
Yeah.
being. And I think that's
Yeah.
what they really want us to learn from this whole, like, you are worthy by just being.
Yes,
And
yes.
the
Yeah.
honey, the honey that you look at as the result of your labor is not the money in the bank, is not the book that you published or the bracelet that you made or the song that you wrote or whatever it is. It
Mm,
is all of your essence, your authentic essence, fully expressed in everything. It's like we want
hmm.
to, and I'm
Yeah.
hearing them like redefine what honey means. It's that full
Yeah.
expression that becomes the abundance that the world receives from you, because the flow of energy coming from you is the abundance that you share, right? Whether it's in the kind words that you share with somebody, or a meal that you make, or whatever, or whether it is the money you donate or the money that you put towards something that will planting a tree or whatever it is. Like they're saying, we're legacy builders by just being, by being an example of this. And I'm hearing like this community that is held together by just allowing everyone to be who they came here to be. Because like I'm hearing, you humans are stuck in comparison. You're constantly comparing and trying to mimic and copy and fit within certain, yeah.
Yeah, and it's so funny because that is something that they do keep bringing back through the messages is again, we don't do it alone. And what does community truly exhibit, right? Those were some of the lines through the transmission. And really what that is modeling for us and inspiring for us is that our individual and unique purpose will actually flourish with a collective supportive environment. And the hive will amplify the capacity, right, of that for each of the unique souls or vibrational essences or bees or however you want to say, right, are a part of it. And so the shared vision also multiplies then the impact, right? And so it really begs us to question to ourselves and to come back to ourselves and say, where are we over functioning alone, right? Where are we always trying to reinvent the wheel and do it alone versus, what does healthy independent interdependence look like? Versus, and we were talking about this earlier, is having boundaries between those as well, right? Because yes, there are interdependent roles that we each have when we go out into the world and then we come back into the hive and then we're together. Okay, so then there's that interplay, right, between that. And so those are just some fun things that we can reflect on. And then another thing that they wanted to talk about was, clarity and inspired action. And, because in the transmission, they were talking about with clarity and inspired action, we can overcome any obstacles. And so with that, it's like, yeah, we have these big visions, but they also require grounded daily steps. And we've talked about this as well in our lives where, momentum can be built within the small tasks, within the small moments, and with a seed that begins and starts, right, somewhere. And how the hive really, really, and the bees really they really foster sacred productivity, and inspired, divine aligned action over hustle culture and resistance and pushing and forcing and, oh, I have to do this or I have to be this way or, because society says so or because this is how somebody else has done it. No, they really want to encourage us to really bring forth our unique medicine and our unique contributions and really ask ourselves, what is one small pollination step, one thing that we could do to plant a seed or an intention, even right now in our lives to move forward with something that we would like to create or alchemize or whatever it may be in your life that's alive right now, right? That it's like, how do we move forward with this without force through letting go so we can create flow, right? Because when we let go instead of holding on and resisting, everything is just so much more easeful. And it really comes down to trust and knowing thyself, which we always come back to as well. But, resistance can block the nectar, right? Whereas sacred trust allows divine timing to to play out. The bee doesn't question the flower, right? It really responds to the beauty and the natural unfolding and the magnificent magnetic essence, the smell. So it brings us to come again back to ourselves, and we can always ask ourselves beautiful, deep questions to reflect on these things, such as, where are we gripping? Where are we resisting in our lives? Where can we surrender more to allow, natural increased fertility to take place? So, yeah, that's just really beautiful. And then they wanted to also share about, where they said we transcend and refine as we show up in our full presence, how our presence truly is our power, and how really embodying the wisdom and the alchemy that we gather from our experiences and really showing up in our full presence and our awareness and our cultivated refined intentions. They talk about like refining all of this through the participation, right? Because if we just sit back and just allow things to just happen, well, then we're not actively co-creating in our intentional awareness, right? We're just going, ah. And so they want to also bring us back to that. And then lastly, that brings us, really back to our heart, which Kat models so beautifully, and how love really is the most powerful frequency. And when we share our love, we share our hearts, we really truly can heal all parts, just like they said in the poem as well. And so, yeah, love is so generative. Love pollinates environments. Love increases our collective nourishment. And love just brings us back to our purpose and our center and our truth and our origins, I feel like. And with that, just planted back here in, in my body. And I'd love to hear, Kat, what you have to share around those messages and kind of tying this all back together, really, and
Yeah,
this
you know
beautiful
what
legacy
was
of honey.
legacy of honey, what was coming through as you were talking was, okay, bring it into the example of the hive, right? How you and I can look at this and say, we are being shown this highest timeline for this community. And by being two women that are very connected to their oracular power, we're seeing the highest timelines in their full color, full technicolor
Spectrum.
of what full, yes, full spectrum of light of what this can be, right? And how it, not how it wants to evolve, but what it wants to evolve into, because we can feel the experience that it would provide, right? And we can look at it and we can say, oh, I see the design. Let me be a busy bee and go build it. But like actually, it's still winter. There are no flowers open right now.
Yeah,
So
that's so true.
let me just trust in the timing, in the
Yeah.
divine, that like surrender and trust. And the aligned action piece is really important, right? The inspired aligned action, because we're learning to again trust our bodies. And we talk about nervous system a lot because that piece keeps coming for me, right? That
Yeah.
how important it is. And even you brought up the word presence, like nervous system wants presence
Yeah.
because presence brings expanded awareness. It brings
Yeah.
slowing down. It brings getting in your body instead of being in the mind. And nervous system catches everything. Every thought that's going through, it keeps being charged with that. So when you can bring the stillness and the that presence, the nervous system is able to calm down a little bit, maybe expand a little bit and hold a little more, right? And
Yeah.
the bees, I don't know if they would survive leaving the hive if their nervous system was dysregulated and, creating and doing what they're, and it's like,
They might
and
be flying
maybe
all wobbly
they
around.
might be flying a wobbly. Yeah, when you see the lost bees out there, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
they like lost this signal. So in a way, when we talk about the hive, the building the hive, we have to build it very, everyone who comes into it has to agree to make an agreement that this is going to be a co-creative, going with the flow, going with the nature, but also building intentionally and taking inspired action and building, right?
Yes. Yes,
And
together,
allowing
yes.
everyone's voice to come through
Yeah.
because the field is speaking through everyone. So really,
Yeah.
it's the greatest experiment in co-creation in the space where everyone feels like their,
Yeah.
spirit life is moving through, speaking through them and as them, right?
Yeah.
And then allowing the vision to unfold in whichever way it wants to,
Yeah.
trusting in the plan and trusting in the intelligence
Hmm.
while being the one that's okay, it's this piece of honeycomb. I'm tending to this right now. And this is, and knowing that no role is static, that it's all just going to keep, yeah, a great
Evolving
experiment
like
that's
this
going to keep
organism that's
evolving.
alive.
Right.
Yes,
And
yes.
ultimately, the question is always, how do you want to play? How
Yeah,
do you want to experiment? How do you want to
right.
create?
Yes.
Because
Highest
you
joy,
are a
highest joy.
being that all of life wants to move through so that
Yeah.
that honey, after it moves through you, it can become honey that is
Yeah.
infused with your essence and your experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love that. And speaking to what you were talking about with the divine timing and everything too, and they were reminding me of this planetary, the astrology going on in the world right now. This is a divine time for this to be created. This has been in our field combined for quite some time. And it is culminating now. I truly believe what they've been showing me is that it's going from this individual, right? Let's do it, we're doing it alone kind of thing, to really coming together. They showed me one bee, one flower, and then they showed me a whole bunch of hives, a whole bunch of bees, a whole bunch of flowers. It's like we're transitioning right now. It's like we're in this collective incubation period. And together we are collectively going through this expansion and awakening, and we're being supported not only spiritually and physically and all the things, but like by the planets too. And they've got things to say too, which we'll be sharing because we didn't realize and recognize when we said yes to all of this what all was going to want to come through and be shared. And it really truly is all connected, and it's fascinating, and I'm just humbled and in my full faith and trust and gratitude and love and connection, and that's where I stay. That's where I be. That's where I
Yeah,
be.
that's where you be. Yeah.
This is where we share from
And
the frequency, right?
right. And so Sabrina is referring to, in case you're listening at a different time than the day we're recording, which we're recording March 2nd, 2026. There is a planetary parade with
Upcoming
Uranus,
blood moon.
Neptune. Yeah, and the upcoming, yeah. So the parade, we were shown it in a very similar way as this rainbow bridge, where it's Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, Venus, Mars, who am I forgetting?
Mercury. Is it
Mercury.
Mercury?
Yeah, Mercury is tight there with Neptune, and the sun. we're forming we're forming this, it almost looks
Rainbow
like a rainbow bridge
Bridge.
even in the
Rainbow
sky when I
Bridge.
took a
Yeah.
picture of it. And it's the way that it was coming for through us and showing us the relevance really, and take it or leave it, you have your own interpretation of this, was that we are, as as human vessels for spirit, right, in this physical form, are like these crystals, these prisms of light that light shines through. And
Mhm.
right now, all these planets through the sun, which is our satellite, shining this light to us, and we are receiving the codes. And it's trying to show us in our physical body, in our system, where we are not exactly clear, where there might be a program running. Maybe it's something in your solar plexus with your personal power. Maybe it's your heart being close to love or forgiveness. Maybe it's your throat with the communication, whatever it is. And they're all like singing together as one
Mhm.
choir. Oh, like
Yeah.
the angels are singing and saying, will you sing with us? Will you allow yourself to become this clear crystal through which the rainbow can shine through? The light can shine through, and you release it as the rainbow, as do we. So yeah,
Yeah. So we get
the
to.
moon tomorrow is magnifying everything. The lunar eclipse, the blood moon in Virgo tomorrow. So on March 3rd. So a lot, but it feels like it's always a lot. There's always
Mhm.
something. There's always a different energy, right?
I
There's
know.
always that.
And
We're in
that's that
Pisces
beautiful
season, of
spiral.
course, right? So we
Yeah.
continue to receive the lessons of the sun in Pisces. That is always stop closing your heart, open to the emotions flowing through, feel everything. I have a Pisces child, so I know the emotional capacity that they hold.
Yes, I
That
have a Cancer
they
child.
teach us. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those watery
Yeah.
that flow without restriction. When
Yeah.
that shadow aspect of armoring and holding and yeah, stagnation of emotions when that's released.
Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. And as you were talking, I saw it's like, they always show us like sliding down the rainbow bridge, right? Because our inner children need to have a little fun. But I remember the other day when we were talking about that, and you brought up the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and I was remembering that.
The
And
pot of gold actually looks
yeah.
exactly like a pot of honey in a lot of the cartoons. Like when you think about it, it's
Yeah.
like
And instead
it's
of
the
Pooh Bear, it's
honey.
the Care Bears down there eating it, right?
Yes, yes,
Oh my gosh, I
yeah,
love that. That's so fun.
yeah. And it's like
Oh,
honey, mana, right?
yes.
It's the alchemized light that moves through you as you learn to embody and hold more light. And as the codes
Yes.
that you hold and you transmit into the world become more pure
Yes.
in the intention that is behind them, that is clouding them, in the transmission of love that you're bringing through, in your
Yeah.
prayer for peace in the world, and like all of these aspects are finally clicking into place and
Yes.
yeah,
And we get to
magnifying
play
the
together and explore together and
yes,
co-create it all together. And I'm just so grateful. And it really truly is. I see it as like this never-ending well of that honey, that liquid gold. And it really is unlimited possibilities of pureness, purity. So yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna be getting to explore all the things together.
yeah. And as you were talking, I'm being shown how I was always given honey for a sore throat as a child.
Oh yeah.
And for like when I had a fever, I was given honey. Like there's always like I'm even seeing how like my scalp has been itchy and I've been told put olive oil and honey on your scalp. And like you have a wound, put honey on it, right? Like how our honey, as we invite you to come into shared space with us, how it's here for you, but you are also bringing honey into our space. And it's the honey that activates our voices, that heals our wounds, that it's this beautiful, like we come and some of us may not remember what our honey is, and we're going to sit together and mirror back at you what your honey is. And it's just
You'll be
that's
pouring honey out your pores
yeah,
before you know it.
exactly. You'll be like scraping it out of your pores.
Oh, I do have
Yeah.
a beautiful closing integration if you'd like that we
Yes,
could
please.
move through together. So thank you so much for that, Kat. It was so beautiful. So inviting you to close your eyes, and we're going to imagine ourselves as bees, feeling beautiful humming in the highest frequency in your chest that is so supportive. It feels energizing, yet calming all at the same time. Imagine and see golden honey forming in your heart space, connecting all of us through its golden etheric cords, weaving together in remembrance and possibility as we whisper internally, I am supported. I am purposeful. I pollinate possibility. And so it is. May your hive be fertile. May your honey be sweet. And may your heart lead your flight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sweet, sweet honey.
Sweet, sweet honey.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much for
sister.
that. Thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you. And the details of how you can find us are in the show notes below. And we welcome you to join us in our gatherings and teachings from the bees and receiving wisdom from the women in the beautiful circles in the even in the WhatsApp circle. We're trying to keep everything in a circle and spiral moving, feminine energy moving
Yes.
motion. So join us, see, feel, know for yourself the field that we are co-creating. And once again, we're not inviting you into a built temple. We're inviting you to co-create with us, to weave with
Shit.
us. So shared. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you for your
Sabrina. And thank
sweetness.
you, dear listeners. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.